Hello beautifuls, my name is Quavia. Welcome to JuJu Thyme. In this video, I'm going to share with you an Afro Folktale. This tale to me is the absolute cutest. It's so adorable. There's so many times throughout the tale that I found myself just smiling because of how cute it is. So this tale, first off, is called The Greatest Warrior of All, and it's a tale from the Maasai people. And when I was reading and just contemplating the meaning of the tale to me and its message regarding life, regarding my journey, or even my magic, I found that its wisdom was very profound and wise, and I'm really excited to share with you my thoughts on it. But first, before I jump into that, I'm really excited to share this tale with you from the Maasai. I really hope that you enjoy it. The Greatest Warrior of All. Once upon a time, just out of curiosity, a caterpillar slipped into a hare's den. Seeing that there was nobody there, he made himself right at home in the darkest and most sheltered corner of the cool den. After a while, the hare came back, and when he saw the tracks on the ground, he was most astonished. Whoever can this creature be who leaves these little marks in the dust? He thought. Unable to get to the bottom of the mystery, he asked in a loud voice, "Who is in my house?" The caterpillar, who was something of a braggart, answered, "I am the greatest warrior of all. I smash the rhinos to the ground and I make mince meat out of the elephant. I am truly terrible." Hearing these words, the hare trembled with fear and took to his heels. By the sacred forest, he thought, what can I do against someone who says that he's the greatest warrior of all? As he was running away, he met up with the jackal on the pathway. "Brother Jackal," he said, "would you mind helping me?" "With pleasure, if I can," the jackal replied. "Come to my house and you try to talk to the so-and-so who has set himself up in there." The jackal agreed, and when the two animals reached the entrance to the den, the jackal shouted at the top of his voice, "Who is hiding in my friend the hare's house?" The caterpillar was not at all worried, and he replied, "I'm not hiding. I'm the greatest of all warriors. I smash the rhinos to the ground and I make mince meat out of the elephants. I am truly terrible." The jackal completely lost his courage, and apologizing to the hare, he said that with a little so-and-so like that, he could do very little indeed. He said goodbye and ran off. The bitterly disappointed hare retraced his steps and went to look for the leopard. He found the leopard under a tree and made the same request of him. Could he go and see who on earth has set himself up in his house? The leopard didn't waste any time, and when he got to the entrance to the hare's den, he said in a loud voice, "Who is hiding in my friend the hare's house?" And once again, the caterpillar was not frightened, and he promptly responded, "I'm not hiding. I'm the greatest of all warriors. I smash the rhinos to the ground and I make mince meat out of the elephant. I am truly terrible." The leopard was quite puzzled. He looked at the hare and said to him, "My dear hare, if this creature is able to do all that, I don't see how I could come out of this with my life, even if I am the great leopard. I'm sorry, but it's better if I just leave." The hare began to give up hope. He thought, and finally he decided that the only thing to do was to turn to the very animals invoked by the terrible warrior. So he went to the rhino and told him the whole story. The great beast, who took great pride in his strength and in his horn, followed the hare to his den and bellowed in a menacing voice. "Who are you who dares to hide in the house of my friend the hare?" And in a voice amplified by the hole in the ground so that it seemed like the voice of a giant, the caterpillar replied, "I am not hiding. Come on in if you have the nerve. But don't forget, Rhino, that I am the greatest of all warriors. I smash to the ground any rhino that I run into." The rhino was dumbfounded by this answer. He thought it over, and then he said to the hare, "He said smash to the ground, huh? Well, I'm sure he's just boasting, but anyway, maybe it's better to forget about it. Take care of yourself, my dear hare." And he took off at a good trot. The poor little hare then went to see the elephant. "Oh, great elephant, second only to the king, the lion, please help me. There is a terrible warrior in my den who has thoroughly abused the rhino and who says that he can make mincemeat out of you." The elephant scratched his head with his enormous trunk, flapped his immense ears a bit, and fidgeted somewhat uneasily. Finally, he cleared his throat and said, "My dear hare, I would be very interested in taking on your terrible warrior, but it just happens to be almost bath time, and I can't pass that up. And don't look for me tomorrow either. I'm leaving. See you soon, my friend." Then he turned around and with a bouncy gait that one would not have expected from such a stately animal, he moved deeper into the forest. The hare was truly desperate. He sat down on the grass and began to sigh heavily. After a while, a frog passed through the meadow, and seeing the hare in such an unhappy state, he stopped and asked him, "My dear hare, why such great sighs? What is the matter with you?" "If you only knew," the hare responded between sighs. "My house has been occupied by the greatest of all warriors, a terrible monster. Just imagine, he has driven off the jackal, the leopard, the rhino, and even the elephant without even leaving my den. So, that is the state I find myself in." There, it seems incredible," says the frog. "If only it were. He is a warrior who smashes rhinos to the ground and makes mincemeat out of the elephants, and he's not kidding." That certainly makes me want to go and see what an ugly puss he must have," said the frog. And without wasting any more time, he headed toward the hare's house, moving in great long leaps. When the frog reached the den, he stood in the entryway and cried out, "Who is hiding in my friend the hare's house?" And the caterpillar, who had developed quite a swelled head after having driven off the jackal, the leopard, the rhino, and the elephant, answered in the same booming voice as before, "I am not hiding. I am the greatest of all warriors. I have made all the animals of the savannah and the forest run away. I smashed the rhinos to the ground, and I made mincemeat out of the elephant." The frog, who, as everybody well knows, is as brave and intelligent as he is ugly, didn't take these words too seriously, and with a great leap he entered the den. "Where are you?" said the frog as he advanced into the darkness. "I am really happy to have found an adversary who is worthy of me." Then the caterpillar saw the frog with his big green head and his yellow eyes drawing near, and the caterpillar was afraid. Hiding himself in a corner at the back of the den, he whispered weakly, It's just a caterpillar." The frog smiled, picked up the caterpillar, and carried him outside. The hare was a bit ashamed, but he quickly cheered up when he thought about how the animals he had gone to for help had behaved. They were big, strong, and scared. "1,000 thanks, my friend the frog," said the hare. "You, who everybody teases for being ugly, you, a small, defenseless animal, were the bravest and cleverest of us all, and I will tell the world of your deed." While the hare was saying this, all the animals of the plains and of the forest had drawn near the hare's den, attracted by the great to-do. And you can imagine the laugh they had when the hare explained how it all had turned out. I love this tale for its two angles, the angle of the caterpillar and the angle of the frog. Like the hare, I admired the caterpillar's audacity, and through their audacity, they were able to scare away the jackal, the leopard, the rhino, and the elephant. The animals that we consider to be big, strong, and royal-like. Through this folk wisdom, I feel there's a lesson the caterpillar can teach us, because as we are going through life and going towards our individual path towards peace, love, joy, and abundance, there is a need for us to take up space, to learn to take up space, that it's okay for us to take up space and claim what it is we want and desire for our lives. Especially if we have lived a life or a childhood that feels as though we were as small as a caterpillar. And we are having now to learn what it means to step into and claim what we desire. And though I'm not a complete fan of the idea of faking it until you make it, I can acknowledge that there is something about having the audacity of the caterpillar that could build confidence even when it doesn't feel true yet. I mean, this can be said for our affirmations that we say. These I am affirmations. Sometimes it can feel like a complete lie, but we continue to say them until something shifts within us that makes us realize that we are what we say. There are things our soul tells us that we are. For example, we are divine, we are perfect, we are loved. And then our minds, sometimes that critical aspect of our minds, tends to fight against it and gives us 1001 reasons why whatever we just said can't be true, until we say no more. I heard on TikTok from a creator, I don't remember who the creator was, but I remember them saying that they learned it from their mentor or something like this. But anyway, but what they said I thought was really profound. They were basically explaining that our minds are a problem-solving machine, and its mission is to solve whatever problems we have based on the downloads that have been inputted. So if you ask, why do I suck? Or why will this fail? Our brains will try its best to give you those reasons. This teaches us that we have to watch the quality of the questions we ask our minds to solve. So instead, we should perhaps ask, why am I amazing? Or why will this work out? And our brains will again try its best to give us those answers. With our affirmations, we, of course, are not asking questions, but There are these mental pathways that have been developed from our past that contradict sometimes what we are trying to reprogram ourselves and our minds with. For me, when I am in these situations where my mind is rejecting the new information that I'm trying to download, I try my best to stop the intrusive, sometimes anxious and honestly unhelpful thoughts, and I just tell my brain, no, that's not helpful. And I try my best to place limits on what my mind is allowed to say about me that my soul has deemed it untrue. And of course, I find it important, at least in my journey, to spend time with the past part of me that had to live that long ago truth by leaning out of my mind and into my heart space. And other times when that doesn't work, I just start small. So for example, if saying, "I am perfect as I am," seems like the most far-fetched thing your mind could truly believe, perhaps start small. I've always known that my fingers are long and slender, like my great-grandmother's. So for me, I was able to find perfection in that. And as though it was contagious, I started to see more and more perfect aspects of myself, not just physically, but even with the essence of who I am. And it all started by starting small. This tale also teaches us to be careful of what we say we are, because the universe will eventually test you and say, "Okay, show me." And we see this. The caterpillar, though having the audacity, did not have the bravery or confidence of the frog. When the caterpillar told the frog, "I am the greatest of all warriors. I have made all the animals of the savannah and the forest run away. I smashed the rhino to the ground and I made minced meat out of the elephant." The frog was completely unfazed and said themselves, "I am happy to have found an adversary who is worthy of me." I love that. I absolutely love that. The frog had the bravery and the intelligence and the true knowing behind who they were, that even in the midst of facing the darkness of the hare's home, the frog felt completely confident to just go in and see what everything was all about. Oh my goodness, I absolutely love that. From the starting space of claiming and having audacity, eventually with bravery and courage, we will need to step into all that we say we are, all that our souls are reminding us that we are. And from another creator that was filming the wisdom of their parents, or maybe it was their grandparents, I'm not quite sure, but they wisely said, "Speak what you seek until you see what you say." And I find that to be very wise words that can be applied to the wisdom of this tale. But anyway, beautifuls, thank you for being here with me. And as demonstrated by the frog, may cleverness and bravery be at your side as you advance into the unknown where your destiny lies. I hope that you enjoyed the tale, for just like you, I am but standing in front of the ocean and the cosmos in complete admiration of how much I don't know. So I'm excited that I get to be a student of myself and the world, so I can continue to explore what else unfolds. Again, thank you for being here with me, and until the next one, truth and love.